growing up, there wasn't one person I watched movies with more than my brother, Griffin. Over the years, as we have both grown and gone off to college, our viewing habits have changed. We may not watch as many movies as when we shared a bedroom, but some of my favorite films of all time were watched with him beside me. These are the top 10 movies I've watched with my brother. Number 10 is Incredibles 2. Incredibles is by far one of our favorite films, so the release of Incredibles 2 was huge for both of us. We left work at like 10 p.m. to go see this film the night it was released. The action sequences are done incredibly well, no pun intended. Most notably in this sequel, the lighting is absolutely beautiful and the animation is far above standard. More importantly, this movie will always be memorable because of our experience getting pulled over after the movie by a vigilante cop, but that's for another video. Number 9 is Jumanji. When you're a kid, you watch your favorite films over and over and over and over again until they're engraved upon your brain. Jumanji is one of those films. This was my first real glimpse of Robin Williams as an actor, and it ignited my love for him and his incredible body of work. The whole concept is just brilliant. A board game that merged with the real world. Today that seems unoriginal, but back then our minds were blown. Number 8 is High School Musical. I don't really know what I can say about High School Musical that hasn't already been said. Kids will never realize how fantastic Disney originals were like back when we were kids. I have a vivid memory of getting this sent to us on an orange VHS tape because my grandma burned the video for us, and quite honestly, the rest is history. I've seen High School Musical and its sequels more times than I can count, and I'm not embarrassed about it. A fun memory I have is walking into Griffin's bedroom watching High School Musical by himself and him yelling at me to get out so he could enjoy it in peace. That was only about 5 years ago and it still cracks me up every time.
Let me be. Fucking good.
Number 7 is Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Seeing this as kids, we were in complete awe because it appeared so real. This childhood classic is super nostalgic for me. The performances are great, the sets are dazzling, and the effects surprisingly hold up to this day. I have fond memories of visiting this section of Disney with Griffin and my mom, and he was still in pull-ups. Number 6 is Spy Kids 2, The Island of Lost Dreams. Spy Kids 2 is one of the greatest movies I have ever watched as a kid. We used to beg my mom to put in a movie at bedtime, and Spy Kids was one of the top 3 we would watch for weeks on end. Honestly, I think I was like 8 years old when I found out there was a first movie. We just consistently watched the sequel, and everything about it is adventurous and fantastic. Sure, the special effects are silly and don't fully hold up, and it's kind of out there in the plot, but it was fun and that just works. Number 5 is Parasite. Now, I didn't see Parasite for the first time with Griffin, but I was so blown away that I took him to a screening an hour away to see it with me. To see him love it just as much as I did was a great experience for me. I love sharing films with people, especially my family and friends, and Parasite is one of those unique classics that will forever be identified as a perfect film to me. I don't want to say anything about it because I plan on making a video devoted to the movie itself. Number 4 is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Just like with Parasite, Spider-Verse had the same effect on me, and my god, is this film perfect. My brother and I have always grown up loving superheroes, and to see an animated film now that just feels solely dedicated to the art and story of Spider-Man was heartwarming to see. With every rewatch, I grow to love this film more and more, from the art style to the soundtrack to the story. The film makes you feel inspired and enforces the idea that anyone could be Spider-Man. It is perfectly special. Number 3 is Small Soldiers. Small Soldiers is one of the most underrated movies of all time. Griffin might not love it as much as I do, but I remember this being an instant action favorite of ours as kids, especially for me. If there's one film that deserves to be watched on VHS, it is Small Soldiers. The visuals hold up, and the story itself is just as, if not more relevant today than ever before. And I'm just gonna say it is Tommy Lee Jones' best role. Number 2 is The Neverending Story. I'm pretty sure The Neverending Story is the first film to ever make me cry. I can't say the same for Griffin, but I know that shit hits hard. This film is shockingly strong. It perfectly conveys a dreamlike state, or what it's like for children to be caught up in their own daydreams. It may seem like a nostalgic trip, but this film means more to me than it did back then. My brother and I watched it on and off over the years as kids, but as we got older, I remember scenes more fondly. The Neverending Story was the first film to elicit tears, to get me terrified of jump scares, be amazed by practical effects, and fall in love with an immersive and extravagant story that lets your imagination just run wild. If you have not seen this movie, I strongly urge you to get on it. Number 1 is Toy Story. No spoiler here. If you're close friends or family, you knew this was coming, especially you, Griffin. Toy Story will forever hold a special place in our hearts and will go down in my personal top 5 favorite movies of all time as long as I live. My brother and I watched Toy Story countless nights on end. We'd slip that VHS in and rewind it every night, more often than not falling asleep before its end. I've grown up with Toy Story, and the movie and the sequels mean more to me now than they ever had. I have the Toy Story clouds tattooed on my arm. It makes me sob every time I watch the end, and I can't get past the entire film without thinking of my brother, our farmhouse, our bedroom with superheroes hand-painted on the walls, and nights we spent rewatching it.
You're flying!
This isn't flying, this is falling with style.
To infinity and beyond!
I just want to end this video by saying happy birthday to my best friend, Griffin. I hope you agree with these picks. If you don't, you're wrong. I'm right. And like always, guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the flip side.